How's that? Is that better? Okay. So this is the the Walton County Local Mitigation Strategy for public meeting number 1. And we are here tonight to talk about why are we doing what we're doing for the county, the purpose and the benefits of hazard mitigation, what the process is going to entail over the course of the next few months. We're going to look at the current hazards that are identified in the current 2015 Local Mitigation Strategy document, talk a little bit about the project timeline, project next steps, and then we will adjourn. And basically what we're wanting to do is just to give the public an overview of why we're doing what we're doing for Walton County and why Walton County and what they're looking for with regards to updating their current 2015 local mitigation strategy. So the first thing is, why do we do this? What is the purpose and what are the benefits? Well, number one, it is required. It is required from FEMA that if you want to receive funding from FEMA or any other federal government agency, you have to have a FEMA-approved hazard mitigation or local mitigation strategy. And then you have to be able to, this is the process that we're having to go through to help us guide post-disaster recovery. FEMA always takes a whole community approach. That is why we want the public's involvement, all the municipalities, the local government, public-private partnerships, outside stakeholders. That whole community approach is what it takes to get a local mitigation strategy put into place. We take a look at all the hazards and the risks specifically for Walton County and help to educate community officials and the public like yourself. And also that in turn helps the county to develop more effective policies to help mitigate against future disasters. And with mitigation, we're talking about lessening that impact for the particular hazards that Walton County has identified. It also helps to reduce the vulnerability to future hazards, saves lives and property, helps to facilitate that pre- and post-disaster funding, speeds the recovery, and helps maintain the economic stability of an area. Because that's one of the big things, is getting the community back up and running as quickly as possible after a disaster so that money can keep flowing into the jurisdiction. There are several different programs through the federal government that does provide grants for hazard mitigation projects. And so by having and going ahead and identifying particular, what we call projects, and identifying of strategies and projects through this planning process, when these grants come out and they are made available to the local jurisdictions, it's just a matter of taking that information out of the local mitigation strategy and plugging it into the grant application to apply for these funds. Now, Walton County does have a mitigation plan in place already, or a local mitigation strategy. But FEMA does require that every 5 years you review and you update that local mitigation strategy, and then it has to go through a review and approval process both at the state level and the federal level. So part of the process is forming a hazard mitigation or a local mitigation strategy work group. Walton County already has a local mitigation strategy work group in place. They meet regularly throughout the year. So what they do is discussing the plan issues as it relates to mitigation, and now helping guiding through this approval process and getting this plan updated for submittal to the state of Florida. Everything that is in the current local mitigation strategy has to be reviewed and, if needed, updated. So reviewing and revising, if needed, the goals, strategies, and objectives that have been identified in the plan. Also reviewing and revising, as needed, hazards, the vulnerability, the data, the risk for each hazard that is identified in the plan. Also, the strategies themselves. They have to look at the strategies that are currently in the plan, where they're at, and where how far they have gotten since 2015. Are there some strategies that maybe have been completed. We need to take off the list. What new projects need to be added? Because if you're going to make a change, every 5 years is when you want to make that change to the plan. And then conducting outreach to the public, just like tonight. So after we leave tonight, what we want to do then is, and we'll give you the contact information, if you have thoughts, ideas with regards to maybe areas in your communities that have problems either pre-storm or post-storm, we want to know about it, because there's no way that Walton County can keep an eye on everything going on in the county. So, even if we've already got it down, we'll let you know, but we want to know about anything that you feel like, hey, maybe you need to look at this drainage issue that's located in our community, or maybe we need to look at the vulnerability or the population that is in your area, that we need to look at what are their risks and vulnerabilities as it relates to tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, hurricanes, those kind of things. We want to know that information at this time, because that's part of this process. And incorporating that into the plan, and then again, going through the adoption process. Like I said, FEMA does require that we have these public meetings, or that local jurisdictions have these meetings, because they do encourage that whole community approach. They recommend 3 to 5 public meetings. We are going to be having roughly 4, probably, public meetings. They are advertised, just like the one for tonight. They are advertised, and news releases go out through the various media outlets, so that you know ahead of time of when the meetings are going to be held. We try to hold them at night, because we do realize that people work during the day, and the county realizes that. So that's why we have them at night as well. So what are the hazards that are currently listed in the 2015 local mitigation strategy? Well, currently the natural hazards that we have identified, or that's in the 2015 plan that we're going to be looking at and updating from 2015 forward, we have earthquakes, tsunamis, coastal and riverine erosion, sinkholes, hurricanes and coastal storms, severe thunderstorms and tornadoes, floods, wildfires, dam failure, drought and heat wave, and winter storms and freezes. We're going to take a look at these, see what the impacts and losses have been, and we update that in the information. We also have in the plan technological hazards, but at this point right now, we are gathering the information on the natural hazards that are currently in the plan. So we do have a very aggressive project timeline and milestones. We're kicking this off. We've kicked it off today. We're working on this with the county, having this public meeting. And then we will be having another public meeting sometime the 1st to the middle of March. And then we'll have another one towards probably the middle of April. And then the end goal is to have a final revised local mitigation strategy to the state of Florida Emergency Management on or about June 1st. That gives them time to review it and provide feedback and or approve it, so that we can get approval and the county can get approval from emergency management with the Florida Division of Emergency Management, so that the plan stays current and it doesn't go out of date, which as of right now, it is in the middle of July. So our goal right now is to get that updated plan to the state by June 1st. Like I said, what's the next steps for this? So in getting data, both from the public, from the local jurisdictions, from the municipalities, from the county, from stakeholders. So we're gathering all this data to update the plan, conducting the public meeting number 2 in March and public meeting number 3 in April. And then with the goal of completing everything by the end of May, 1st of June. We do have contact information, and Jeff Goldberg, who is the Emergency Management Director for Walton County, if you have any questions or need anything and you have information, Jeff would be the person that you would reach out to, and you have his contact information. And then the co-chair of the Local Mitigation Strategy Work Group is Kelly Schultz. And then the planner for Walton County is Donna Free. And then myself and Melissa Slosh are the two planners from Tetra Tech that are helping the county through this process. Any questions?